tell you guys about a call that I had with the client that was just crazy. So actually, it didn't even start with a call. It started with an email that said, hey, I've got a problem with my WordPress site. Can you give me a call? So, I said, okay, sure. And so I call up this lady, and she is in the business of like helping people with like dietary stuff, gluten related issues and things like that. And she's working on this website. And so she says, hey, you know what? I've been working on this site for about a month now, and I've got this web designer helping me, and everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, we logged onto the website this morning to kind of keep building it all out, but it's all messed up now. It's all like broken, and like all the images are out of whack, and everything's just all out of sorts. Can you help me figure out what to do about all of this? And so I said, sure, here's what to do. Send me over your, WordPress username and password so I can log in and take a look at what's going on. So, a few minutes pass, I get the username and password and I log in. And so I first look at the site, and it totally is all askew. It's like, I don't know what happened to this site. It was just a complete, it didn't even look like anybody had tried it all. I mean, everything was out of whack. And so I log in, and I immediately notice there's like, tons and tons of plugins. I don't know, probably maybe 50 plugins installed in this website. And so now I'm on the phone with the client, and I'm looking at the website at the same time. And I'm saying, okay, so I'm looking at your site. I'm in the WordPress admin now. Can you, tell me what happened? And so she starts talking about how she's been working with this developer, and they've been, working on the design of this site, and they're pretty happy with how things were going. And they've got this WordPress theme that they have really been enjoying using, because they can, make pages look however they want. There's lots of drag and drop features. There's, all kinds of stuff for all this stuff. She wanted to have something like an online book and things like that. And this theme had all the features that they needed for that kind of a thing. So I start looking at it. It's like, well, I don't see anything immediately obvious about what went wrong. What is it that you would like me to do? And she says, well, we had the website almost completely finished and ready to go, and then we were going to put some final touches on it today. And then when we logged in, as you can see, the whole site looks like it just went through a blender or something. And so I was like, man, you got so many plugins here. I don't even know where to begin to look here. So I'm kind of thinking kind of in real time as to what to do. And so it occurs to me to look at, what theme are they using? And it was this theme called the Monster theme. It's really appropriately named because it was quite a monster. So I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and, reinstall this theme on my own in my own like development environment, and see if I can, figure out what's going on like locally before I mess with this live site. It wasn't live yet. It was still kind of in development, kind of behind like a coming soon page. And so I create my own development environment and everything here locally on my laptop. I get WordPress going, and then I install this monster theme, right? And as I like activate the thing, it says you've got to install like 32 plugins just to activate the theme required like 30 some plugins. It was crazy. And I was like, good grief, I have no idea how to uncover where the problem is. There's so much code in this website, and they were only using just a fraction of the available features. And I was like, this is insane. Well, I can't even believe it. And so, as we're talking, this other web developer that this lady was working with, she gets on the phone with me too. And now all three of us are having this three-way call. And like she's trying to explain to me what she did, and like she doesn't know anything about code. She doesn't know anything about HTML or CSS or PHP or anything. Like her whole mentality when it comes to these WordPress sites is there's a plugin for that. Kind of like the Apple Store guys or whatever. There's an app for that. Like whatever it is that she wants to do, she just gets a plugin for that. And she's found this theme that's kind of like a framework sort of, but it lets you build as many different kinds of layouts as you want. But it's like heavy on the graphical drag and drop kind of thing. And so, as we probably talked for like 20 minutes about what to do. And it got down to the point where I was like, it would probably be easier and faster to just start over. I could see what they had written, like what their copy was on their pages, but it was like all jumbled up, and like all of their columns were just askew, and it was very strange. And so I said, why don't I just go in and I can harvest out what you've written, and I can just reapply that to a better theme and a better layout that's going to be much more stable for you. And they're like, but we've already spent like $1,500 on this website. We can't just throw it out. And I was like, but I mean, it's probably going to cost like at least $1,500 for me to dig through all of these plugins and everything to try to figure out how to resort all of the problems. And so, I wanted to jump on here and talk to you guys about this, because this totally exemplifies the problem with like so many WordPress sites out there and so many people out there that don't know what they're doing, but they're trying to help. I mean, it's not their fault, right? Everybody's got to start somewhere, got to learn somehow. But what people tend to do is they'll jump in and say, oh, I can build this site for you, and then they rely 100% on these drag and drop themes and visual tools and things like that. And then when something goes askew, nobody knows what to do. It's in fact, something like this particular theme was so heavy duty that there was, I tried to actually dig into the database and like look at the source code that was generated for in the post table and stuff. And it was just, you couldn't deal with it. I mean, it was everywhere. And so it was totally insane. So yeah, like Andy was just saying, yeah, totally the thing to do is export the content and start with a fresh install. And 50 plugins, yeah, it's absolutely too many. And so here's this brings out a couple of points that I wanted to mention to you guys. The first thing is there's so much functionality that's native to WordPress that you don't have to have like 50 plugins to pull things up. I would say like whenever I put together a site, it probably has maybe 5 plugins. I usually use a plugin that helps with SEO stuff. I tend to use all-in-one SEO, and a lot of people use Yoast, whatever. Maybe have some, a plugin that deals with e-commerce, but for the most part, I don't really have a lot of plugins, and you don't need them. And the reason you don't need them is there's so much stuff actually built into WordPress by itself natively that you can take advantage of. Like say you want an audio player. Well, there's an audio player built into WordPress. And if you don't like the way it looks, you can style it with your own CSS. And there's a way you can do playlists. So like if you are working with somebody who wants to be in music or have like their own locally hosted audio system, podcast, whatever, you can, WordPress has built-in podcast player, or not a built-in podcast player, but a built-in audio player that'll deal with playlists. And image galleries, there's image gallery functionality built into WordPress. I mean, there's tons of things that are built into WordPress, and you can really take advantage of that. And you can, if you know a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, you can style that stuff so that you can use native functionality in WordPress, and that makes your site load faster. It makes everything better. Things aren't going to get so corrupt. Like just with like a little bit of PHP, you can do some really complex stuff too. It seems complex, but it's actually not. Like, say you have like a bunch of different posts, like you have a blog post with a particular category that you don't want to display in your blog for whatever reason. Well, it's like 3 lines of PHP, and you can hide any category or whatever from your post from your blog, and it's like everybody just instantly says, hey, you know what? I need a plugin for that, or hey, you know what? My theme can handle this for me, and like. Yeah, there's absolutely the place for some of the tools that can help you build sites faster, but you don't have to have all of that stuff to, to just bog down your website. And it's like, I don't know what kinds of themes you guys use or what kind of problems you guys have, but comment below and let me know if you've ever experienced anything like this, if you've seen anything like this. Hey, and if you're the kind of person that is building websites like this, that are just bogged down with all kinds of heavy duty themes or like gobs and gobs of plugins, hey, just let me know. Let me talk to you about that. So, we can get you building better websites. I mean, that's what this group is about. It's about, getting people that are serious about helping their clients, about improving their skills, about how to actually build better websites. How do we get that to, how do we get you up to the next level so that you can, not be this poorest person? So that kind of brings the last point that I wanted to make is this poor lady on the other end of the phone, not the actual client, but the person who is actually building the website. She's like freaking out on the phone, and she's feeling guilty. And it's like, I can imagine if that were me, I'd be like sweating because like somebody's paid like this, this arrangement that these two people have had. She had gotten like $1,500 already. to build this website. Like, I don't know what her final cost was or what the total cost of the website was or whatever. But like, before we even got started, I remember one of the complaints was, oh man, we've already invested like over $1,000, $1,500, whatever, to get this far. I don't want to throw it away and start over. And so like, if I was the web developer for that, I would be mad at myself. I would be frustrated with my job in general. I mean, I would be freaking out about that. And she was too. Like, I could hear in her voice that she was like really anxious about this, because, you know, she's not a bad person. She was trying to do the best that she could, but you know, things just got totally out of hand. And, you know, like, you know, weeks and weeks of her time went by, you know, building the site. It was going great. And then all of a sudden, you know, nobody knows what happens. You know, it's like something got corrupt in the theme. You know, something went askew. You know, nobody knows. And all of a sudden the site is just like, you know, it just went through the blender, right? And so, so like, if that's you, if you've had that experience, you know, let me know. Let's talk about that. And, you know, and bump you up to the next level. So, you know, this isn't going to happen to you. And furthermore, like, this poor woman, you know, she's got this job. It's like her client, and they're calling me. And I didn't know any of them, and I didn't know her from before or anything like that. So she's calling me to figure out, you know, what am I going to do? So I could have said, hey, you know what, just let me build the site. Let me do all this stuff for you. And now this lady that's, you know, built this website and everything, you know, doing the best she can, trying to, and the two people were friends beforehand and everything. So I'm sure this is straining the relationship a little bit. But I mean, it's an honest problem. Like, she didn't mean to wreck the website. She just got in over her head. The website got all messed up, and now they're in this mess. So you know, if you've ever had that happen, I can imagine it would be like, imagine that, you know, somebody's paid you money and you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, like, I can't just rebuild the whole thing. It's taken weeks and weeks to get here. So, I mean, gosh. And then so here I am, you know, what do I say? What am I supposed to say? You know, give me the project, take it from her. You know, it's like, you know, are we all going to work together? So I don't know how all this is going to shake out, you know, but I had to jump on here and tell you about this, because this is exactly why we started the group, so that this doesn't happen to you. And if it has happened to you, how do we get you out of it? How can we get you to the point where you don't rely 100% on drag and drop widgets inside of themes and things like that? Now, I'm not telling you not to use drag and drop stuff in themes. You know, all kinds of page builders are out there. There's good ones, there's bad ones, there's some that are heavier duty than others. What I am saying is you just need to learn a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, and just a smidge of PHP, and that goes so far. That goes so far in being able to ramp up your skills as a WordPress developer. And really, on top of that, it's going to take you outside of the realm of just being the web guy. You know, you don't want to be just the web guy. You want to be somebody who's actually driving their clients forward. And there's Andy. Andy and I are friends. He loves page builders, and there's nothing you can build sites really fast with page builders, no question about it. But when things get askew, you know, it all falls down, man. It's like that Jenga game or whatever. You ever play Jenga? You know, with the towers and the little blocks, and you like keep pulling the blocks out, and then eventually somebody pulls one of the blocks out, and the whole thing comes down. Well, if your page builder gets all fakaked like that, it's like pulling that bottom block out of the Jenga tower, and the whole thing comes down. You can't fix that. It's like Humpty Dumpty, right? You can't fix it. And so you just have to start over. And so so I'm so happy that we've started this group. I love the fact that we've got, you know, it's growing really fast. And this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. So if this is you, if I'm talking about who you are, like if you're one of the people that relies 100% on these page builders and you don't know what's going on, and you want to be able to do, you know, more, you want to be able to say yes. Like if the client says, I want to be able to, let's see, here's Dom saying something. Yeah, I won't name any names either. Although I guess I did name the name of that one monster theme. And it in fact is a monster, right? But yeah, anyway, so if this is you and you want to be able to ramp up your skills and you want to be able to say yes when your client comes to you and says, you know, I've got this need, can you do this for me? And you don't want to be like sweating and like freaking out like this lady that was, you know, that had this wrecked website on her hands, then, you know, let me know. Let's talk about that. That's what this group is for. Message me and we'll figure something out, guys. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys again real soon. Thanks so much.